Hi, and welcome to section 3.4, which is division with decimals. So first of all, let's review a little bit of long division. So let's say we want to divide 5,974 by 20. So just to remember, we say, okay, well, 20 goes into 59 how many times? It goes in twice. Then we multiply, right? Then we subtract and we bring down everything else. That's a 9, that's a 1. 20 does not go into 19, but how many times does 20 go into 197? Goes in at least 9 times, at most 9 times, and we subtract. Okay, and we bring down. Okay, so then again, now we have 174. How many times does 20 go into 174? 8 times. And that's 160, and we subtract, and the remainder is 14. So, we can leave this as 14 over 20, or rather we can write this as 298 and 7/10 if we reduce, which again can be 298.7. Okay. And then finally, let's do another one. Let's divide 34.8 by 4. So 4 goes into 34 8 times, which is 32. So we subtract, bring down, that's 28. And now when we have a decimal in, in the quote-unquote little house, right? That's how informally we can say it. When you're dividing, you just go ahead and bring up the decimal, okay? And you keep it there, okay? Directly above the decimal point here, and we continue to divide. So 4 goes into 28 7 times exactly. So that's 20. Technically, this is a point and this is a point, but it's fine as long as we keep the decimal point up here. It's all good. So this is our answer, 8.7. Okay. So let's continue. So what about 567? Let's go into a couple of problems. So here, we have 587.6 divided by 2. So then that becomes 2, 4, 18. Right? Let's bring everything else down. Let's keep the decimal. Because there's no decimal in here, we keep the one that's in the problem, in the dividend, right? So this would be 9, this is 18, subtract, bring down, 2 goes into 7 3 times, that's 6, subtract and bring down, 2 goes into 16 8 times, okay? Now, if we were to do 587.6 divided by 0.2, so the only difference, so we have here 587.6 and then we have 0.2. What we need to do here, we can't divide straight in this fashion, long division, so we need to convert this to a whole, but then we would also convert this we would move a decimal place over in the dividend and the divisor, okay? And then we would go ahead, and now the decimal point would be here, as opposed to here. The numbers would end up being the same, right? It would still be the same calculation. If you see, it would be the same calculation, except that the only difference is where the decimal place is. Okay, so and this would be 3, 6, then that would be 16, and then this would be 8. So this would just be 2,938. So this one is 293.8. This one's 2,938. What about if we divide it by 0.02? So the only difference here, so if we had 0.02 and we were to divide 587.6, the same number, we need to move it 2 decimal places over, okay? So it would be the same thing, 2938, but now we would have an additional 0, okay? So this would be 29,380, 29,380. Okay, so what can we conclude about dividing with decimals? And to divide with decimals, we would basically divide like as if there were no decimals, if we were dividing by a whole number, except that we keep the decimal place directly above the house, right? If we're dividing by a decimal, we need to change it to a whole number by moving it to the right as many times as we need to, but we also need to move the decimal inside the house to dividend to the right the same number of places, and then we divide, like as in step 1. So now let's you try. So I will give you guys, why don't you go ahead and pause and divide, and then see what we get here. Okay, so let's go ahead and work these out. So 1, we have 27. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Haha. 49.896. Okay, so the decimal comes up. 27 goes into 49 one time. Okay, subtract 6, 9, 8, and this is 2, 2, and then 228. So 227 goes into 228 about how many times? So let's see. So 228, 27 goes into it about 8 times. So 8 times 228, 8 times 27, 216, right? Multiply and then subtract and bring down. Okay, 27 goes into 129 about how many times? Let's say 4 times. So 4 times 27 is 108. Okay, and that's going to be, bring down the 6, 1, 2, 216. So that's actually 8 times. So, and that gives you 0. So you can also check this on your calculator. 49.896 divided by 27, that's going to be 1.848. Sorry, there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next one. So 2, I'll just put it up here. 35 into 1,138.9. Okay, so 35 goes into, not into 11, but it goes into 113. How many times? About 3 times. Okay, so 3 times 35 is 105. Okay, subtract. Remember, there's no decimal here, so the decimal remains here. Okay, and we bring down 9, 8, and then borrow, right? So that would be 8. So 35 goes into 88 twice, so that's 70. Subtract. They'll bring down the 9, bring down the 8, and the 1. So 75 goes into 189. 35. 35 times 4 is 140. I think we could do one better. 35 times 5 is 175. That's good. So that's 175. Okay, we subtract. And then that would give us 4, 1. And then we don't have any more here, but we could bring down a 0. Okay? And that actually works. 35 times 4 is 140 exactly. So that's it. Okay? Okay, so that's it. And then for the third one, the only difference is, so let's move this over. So for number 3, we have here 3.8 goes into 31.35. Move over 1, move over 1. Bring up the decimal, okay? So then we have, how many times does 38 go into 313? So 38, I'm gonna take a guess, and I'm gonna say 8 times. So 8 times 38, because I moved the decimal over, that's 304. Okay. So subtract. Bring down what's left. 1 you're subtracting. How many times does 38 go into 115? So if we do 3 times, then you get 38 times 3 is actually 114. Okay, that's a 1. And then we can keep going, right? We could say, okay, we could say, okay, well, how many times I need to make a 0. If I want to keep dividing, I can add as many zeros as I need to. Okay, so wait, hold on a second. So we have 31.35, and we're dividing by 3.8. So let me make sure that I did this correctly here. 8 times 38, 304. Oh, I messed up here. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have borrowed here, and then that would have been 13, and this would have been a 9. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I messed up. So that changes this to 2. Sorry. So sorry. So 2 times 38 is 76. So 95 minus 76 is 19. Sorry about that. Then you bring down the 0. So how many times does 38 go into 190 now? Again, sorry. I subtracted wrong up here earlier. I'm sorry about that. So if you saw it earlier, you're not wrong. I was the wrong one. Okay, so 190 divided by, how many times does 38 go into 190? 5 exactly. Okay, so 5, that's 190, and that is it. So it's 8.25. Okay, last one, 0.25. Let's divide 0.3778. So 25 goes into 37 once, and then 8, 7, 2, 1. 25 goes into 127 5 times, 125. And then here 25 goes into 28 once. So it's 25. There's 3 left over. Could bring down a 0. Uh-oh. So I'm gonna looks like I might run out of space. Okay, if we were to keep going, right, so this would be a 0. 25 would go into 31 times, so that would be 25. And then if I was to bring it back over here, that would give me 5. And if I have a 0, that would be 5. And if I bring down a 0, that's 50. So this is the additional. 25 goes into 50 twice. Okay, so 50 minus 50, and that's 0. Okay, so that's right here. Okay, so the answer would be 1.5112, or 1 and 5,112 10,000ths, if we're saying it properly. Sorry about that. Okie dokie, so that's it for that, and this is your super fun homework, 1 through 43, every other odd. Secret word is yellow. And I will see you in the next video.